Welcome back everyone to the channel. I want to talk to you a little bit today about bug out bags or get home bags or everyday carry bags. This is a bag that you carry with you, most people in their car or truck or SUV, and it contains emergency supplies for someone to get to a different place. And so I drive a Toyota Tacoma. I have 3 small children and my wife. And so for me, I have like no room on the inside of my truck. And so my bag is smaller and I built it on a budget. And one of the reasons why I did that was because where I'm sitting right now is where I'm building my cabin for my family. And it is about 20 acres in West Tennessee, completely off the grid. And I had a fear that if I came out here and for some reason my truck didn't start or I was stuck out here, I pretty much have no cell signal out here, I would need some emergency supplies to help me get back home. And so if you search YouTube, you're going to find a ton of videos on this topic. But one of the things that I hope will maybe enlighten you a little bit today is that mine is done on a budget. So under $50, you can have kind of the essentials that you need for a good bug out bag. And again, the purpose of this is not to survive forever off this bag. I've seen so many videos, and I have friends that they have a 50-pound bag in their truck at all times, and I don't see the reason why. It's just to get you to where you need to go. And you could survive 24 hours without any supplies, I'm pretty sure, but this is just to help you in that type of situation. So if I was stuck out here, I know I got some essential supplies here to help me get home or get in contact with someone to send me some help. And so hopefully this will help you. Now, quick story, true story. My brother lived outside of Anchorage, Alaska, and he had about an hour drive in his truck to get home from work. And one day he was driving home from work and a massive earthquake came and hit the highway coming out of Anchorage. And this is in the middle of winter, feet of snow, freezing outside. And he had to go half a day almost out of the way to get back to his wife and son. And so he had one of these bags, so he wasn't freaking out. And, you know, situations like that happen from time to time. So hopefully this video will enlighten you that you don't have to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars to have a good everyday carry bag. I'll show you what I have in mind. It's just the essentials, and you can do it on a budget. So hopefully you'll find it informative. So this is everything that I carry in my budget everyday carry bag. So the bag itself, super cheap. I went with kind of the olive green color. I wanted something that would pretty much blend in with wherever I was going, especially if I had to hike through the woods or something. It's got a little bit of red accents on it just to make it easier to see when it's on the ground, but I kind of have everything in the main section. Then outside is kind of the quick go-to items, and then up here is my first aid kit. When choosing a bag, choose one that pretty much opens up all the way. It just makes things easier, that you can set on the ground and just open it all the way up and see everything that you need access to. So we'll start over here. This is, I think, $4.50 paracord. Paracord is super cheap. You can get it on Amazon for next to nothing, or you can go to like an outdoor store and then cut the exact length that you want. I like it bright and visible so it's easy to see. Next I have TP, and you can see it's been sitting in there for a while. It's kind of flattened out, but it's still dry and of course good for when you need to go number 2, or as a fire starter. There's a lot of uses for it. And then I have some Kleenexes right underneath it. This little thing right here is a microfiber towel, and I have used this so many times. This is probably one of the things I've used the most out of the kit. Just if I wash my hands or my face and I'm dirty and I just want to get it dried off, super easy. And it comes in this mesh pouch that it's actually attached to, and it just helps it dry out. Now, apart from like a knife and fire starting, I would say the most essential piece of gear in any everyday carry bag, or if you do a lot of backcountry camping and stuff like that, is a good pair of gloves. And I never hear anybody talk about this, but it's so important because putting the gloves on helps you to pick up things off the ground like sticks, or you're building a fire. You don't have to worry about poison ivy. You're lifting something heavy. You're not tearing up your hands, because your hands and feet are probably the most important part when you're in an emergency situation or you're camping. And so a good pair of gloves goes a long way. Moving down here, we have some sunscreen, and then I'll move this over here next to it. Kind of goes with it. There's a little bit of bug spray, keep the ticks off. And then I have some food. I just got a bottle of water, beef jerky, because I can keep it in here for a couple of years and don't have to worry about it going bad since it's dehydrated. I have 2 packs of ramen noodles. They're super lightweight, tons of calories, and you can just soak them in water and you don't even have to cook them. They're already cooked, and so won't taste as good, but definitely give you some good energy. And then just a Cliff Bar. So coming down here to the first aid area, I have this on the outside part of my bag. I have a snake bite kit. I've never used this before, never had to, but especially around here in West Tennessee, there's water moccasins and other poisonous snakes. And if you're trying to get home and you're hiking through the woods or you're lost or something, this would be, I think, just super important because it weighs, like an ounce, nothing. And then right here, I have my first aid kits. I kind of have 2. This little waterproof container I got with the first aid kit for next to nothing. And then this over here is just filled with like antiseptic stuff, some over-the-counter meds, and just kind of some generic things that you might need if you got a cut or something like that. And this is something, like, I'm just telling you, you should never pay for stuff like this. You can get a free first aid kit anywhere. It's like the go-to freebie for people at like Chamber of Commerce meetings and business giveaways and at your work. And so I just keep them here in this Ziploc baggie, and it helps keep everything nice and dry and super free. So I have this one as well, and very similar stuff is in this one. I have a feminine product, and that is simply not just in case it was needed for a lady, but it makes good wound care, and so keep one of those with me at all times. Next, I have an emergency poncho. These are like 99 cents. They're super cheap, and it can be used not just to keep you dry if you're moving, but could also be used as a shelter. Then I have right here, this is a Rite and Rain pad, so it's a waterproof, has waterproof paper on it. And you can take notes, you can do maps, you can write whatever you need to and not worry about it getting ruined by getting wet. Probably my favorite piece of gear in my everyday carry bag is this Gerber knife. It is the Bear Grylls version. This thing it's got to be at least 10 years old at this point, but I absolutely love it. It's the most expensive piece of gear in my everyday carry, and I love it because it's a single blade that goes all the way through the handle, and so it's very sturdy. Right here, this is actually a fire starter. I had another one. I can't remember what happened full set, but this is what it looks like. And so you can start a fire with it. It's got a striker. It's got on the back, it's got some emergency things for you to know how to do. Inside this is a knife sharpener. Then here on the end is an emergency whistle. It's very high pitched and loud. I love this knife. It's got a little loop here. I have hiked hundreds of miles with this knife on my side, used it a million times. And so if you're going to go more expensive than anything, get you a good knife. Extra starter with that. Extra, I got a lighter here. A lot of people talk about redundancies in everyday carry kits. I really don't do a ton. Probably fire starting is the only one that I do, simply because it's so lightweight and so small. Why not? And then I have a few extra batteries. I don't carry it in the bag, but in my truck I carry just a headlamp, and because I use it all the time, I don't keep it in the bag, but that's what the batteries are for. So yeah, that's it. That's what I use in my everyday carry bag. It stays in my truck at all times. You don't have to spend a ton of money to have a good bag. Just even a cheap bag with just a few essentials is infinitely better than no bag at all. So I would encourage you to make one yourself. I hope you found this video good. If you like all things outdoors and minimalism and spending time with your family, I encourage you to subscribe. God bless you.